This morning, a trove of images showing decades of unidentified objects is sparking curiosity among starry-eyed enthusiasts. The Pentagon says this is the first of what will be several declassified document dumps about the unidentified object sightings at the direction of President Trump. The president now touts complete and maximum transparency, writing it's up to the public to decide for themselves what the hell is going on.
It's Ken Harbaugh with the MeidasTouch Network. What the hell is going on indeed? I'm sure I don't need to tell this audience that this is one more attempt at distraction. Look, as a Navy pilot back in the day, I saw some things I cannot explain. Feel free to ask me about it sometime. But my first reaction was never space aliens. Of all the reasons for weird things to appear in the sky, that is by far the most complicated and the most unlikely. I can't say for sure whether aliens are real. There's probably life out there somewhere. But if what we're looking at in these documents is the best evidence this government's got, then aliens haven't been here. But more to the point, in a moment when America is embroiled in a war in the Middle East, when the economy is imploding, this is what our government is focused on. If ever there was a don't mind the man behind the curtain moment, it's this. As laughably obvious as this attempted diversion may be, there's a serious side to it, one that Denver Riggleman helped me appreciate. Denver and I go way back. He's a former Republican Congressman, was a lead investigator on the J6 committee, and most importantly for this conversation, he's something of a semi-professional conspiracy theory debunker. He's written books about it. I won't spoil the rest. Here's me and Denver Riggleman. Denver Riggleman, thanks for joining me. Aliens. Where do we begin? And why now? Why would the administration want to release the alien files in the middle of such a low news information cycle? Nothing else is going on, right? It's not a distraction attempt.
From the beginning, I've told people about this administration. I call it the Squid Ink administration, Ken, because all they do is they keep spraying things everywhere. But it goes back to Steve Bannon, right? Flood the zone with shit. But this UFO stuff is really about the belief systems, I think, on this sort of, and I'm just going to go there. Okay, Ken, so let's do this. On this Christian nationalist Project 2025 belief system nonsense, where they're harvesting so many people under these belief systems. But you have people on the Hill. Look, Tim Burchett, Anna Paulina Luna, Eric Burlinson. You have a massive UFO caucus out there. And it's just amazing to me that people still believe it. I think the real question is, how do people believe this nonsense of alien abductions, these sightings, things like that, when there's literally no proof? There's nothing concrete that you can ever point to. And it's so unbelievably ridiculous. It's just hard for me, as you know, somebody who hates conspiracy theories. I think this is just another big distraction based on some of the belief systems and some of the odd UFO to aliens to angels to demons pipeline that you see, right? That J.D. Vance is pushing out there, which seems to be the thing that he likes to do, but really a lot of people in the administration who believe
I don't
this.
know about that. What's J.D. Vance pushing? What's the Venn diagram here with extreme Catholicism, I guess? It
is. I mean, interdimensional beings could be aliens. There could be people from just another dimension, right, that are actually maybe human from a parallel universe, or they're demons or angels. And as we heard
people are going to clip this to make us seem crazy.
I'm saying that's what J.D. Vance believes. I hope that we have this sort of this caption, Denver speaks of J.D. Vance, right? But, I had somebody send me an email today, like, Denver, I didn't realize you were telling these conspiracy stories for a lesson. I thought you actually believed some of them. Like, that's not been the point.
Satire is worthless on some people.
Oh, man, it really is. But yeah, I think that's what I've really just sort of gravitated to, was that the very people that are building policy, the serious part of this, Ken, is the people that are making policy in Iran, the people who are making policy in terms with Ukraine or the Middle East or OPEC or South America or Cuba or Venezuela or medical and healthcare or the defense budget. As you go down the line for policy, these are people who believe that angels visit them in their rooms. That means that our policy is based on fantasy-based people who have no idea what they're doing. And I think that's why you see America in such dire straits.
I'm glad you took it there, and I'm glad you got serious. I promise, folks, we'll end with a laugh if we can. But when I think about the line, and it's actually not that long, it's on the same slope, and it's not that steep between believing that aliens have spoken to you by abducting you from your bedroom, and angels have spoken to you telling you to wage war with Iran. It's the same continuum, and we literally have a Secretary of Defense who believes that he's been ordained by God to wage a holy war in the Middle East, who wears this philosophy on his skin, literally, in the form of a crusader tattoo on his chest and an infidel tattoo, literally, on his forearm. It is not that much of a stretch from being a conspiracy-minded alien abduction nut to being the current Secretary of Defense who believes he's ordained by God and visited by angels, waging a crusade against the enemies of the divine using the U.S. military to do it.
I think you just summarized our entire foreign policy stance. And it's, what is it, Rapture policy? I mean,
oh my God. Did you just come up with that?
Yeah, I did. Did you like that? I did. I was just thinking about
terrifying.
How do you even?
There's only 40,000 of us left after the rapture. If folks are unfamiliar with the eschatology,
not this guy.
Yeah, I won't be
no. I'm going to be either burning flames or down here with the sinner still at my distillery sipping a bourbon. Like, thank goodness I'm not naked in heaven and with a diaphanous gown, singing eternal praises to an alien.
To everyone for that visual.
Well,
bring it back.
Bring it back. I think what you said is what has been scaring me is that, I mean, we have the least talented, most insane, most unhinged presidential administration in the history of the United States. I think we can almost say that unequivocally now.
No competition.
No. Tulsi Gabbard, Pete Hegseth, RFK Jr., even some of the people downrange, right? Like Besant, right? Just a nut, just absolutely a nutter. And the people that they've underneath him, everybody's like, well, Marco Rubio is sane. Well, why is he appointing white nationalists as undersecretaries? People that were kicked out of the prior administration, like Darren Beattie, who wrote for the Revolver, who's now part of the culture position at the State Department. Are you kidding? I mean, the thing is, we run out of words. The sane do not have the words to categorize the insane and what's happening right now. And the way that you presented it, Ken, and the way that I sort of looked at it as rapture policy, is that this really all goes back to, and I'm not trying to, we have a conspiratorial, credulous, voting bloc that's been captured. I hate to use the epistemic capture, right? But I'm going to use it. They've been captured with this weird language-based conspiratorial thinking that goes back to Project 2025, and that really gave it the bones to make it happen. And that's what we're seeing is the execution of a Christian nationalist playbook based on angels and demons and fantasy. And the president of the United States, who doesn't believe in any of it, who absolutely thinks it's ridiculous, able to mine the ignorant for his own self-dealing.
Hey everyone, it's Ken. Super quick break to remind you that I've got a Substack page. Please consider subscribing for exclusive content and bi-weekly Substack lives. And for the next month, every paid subscription goes towards my upcoming reporting trip to Ukraine. Thanks for the support. The link is below. Slava Ukraine. That's the crazy part, is that movement is idolizing someone who mocks it every day by his actions, by his words, by his very existence. And I'm thinking of that 12-foot golden Trump calf on Mar-a-Lago that all of these pastors are surrounding and bowing down to, and then offended when we call them out for idolatry. And Trump is laughing his way to the bank every time. This statue was funded by a crypto billionaire, I'm told. How do they not realize the joke's on them?
Ken, I mean, we're not supposed to blame the victims, right? We're supposed to blame the architecture, and we're supposed to, but I mean, what is it? There's some ridiculous statistic about 6th grade or 7th grade reading level in the United States where 54% of Americans aren't above this certain, middle school grade level, sort of reading comprehension. I mean, you're almost to a point that, or have we crossed the Rubicon, Ken? Have we crossed the Rubicon where people can't even see the difference? They see a golden statue of a man that comes. Listen, if you believe in the fantasy, you have the golden calf and the Antichrist definitions right there in front of you, and he matches every one of them. And even in their fantasy books, right, it says this is what happens, right? This is what happens with the Antichrist. And you're like, the very thing you believe in that a lot of people have a tough time with, that's great. I mean, 70% of Americans probably have a Christian background, but now that thing that you believe in is saying that the thing that you have to watch out for if you believe in this is somebody who is the Antichrist, who believes in this and makes monuments to themselves. And they're like, nah.
Not my guy. All right, I'm going to ask you. It's not
that golden statue.
We might have to cut this out because this is some, backroom strategy stuff, smoke-filled kind. Do you have misgivings about feeding the Antichrist narrative? Because I do, in the sense that, I don't believe in that kind of literal eschatology, that end time apocalyptic stuff. But I love seeing the MAGA faithful tear itself apart over this debate now with Tucker and Candace and Erica, and folks know who I'm talking about, all going after each other, racing to see who can be the first among equals to emerge in the post-Trump era, which requires tearing down Trump. I'm like, red meat. Let's feed it to him. But it's cynical, isn't it?
And dangerous. And absolutely okay. No, so Here's the thing. Well, here's the thing. You have people arguing over which demon is real. Now it's not just which Jesus is real or which God is real. Now you have people arguing over what is the demons that we must fight. And is Donald Trump part of that demon-based background that we hate, that we've been taught? And now they're saying that there's no way anybody who already is a true believer doesn't look at the golden statue of Trump being worshiped, Ken, being worshiped and blessed, and not say that is screwed up. You have to, this is like one flew over the cuckoo's nest, but those are the people running our government. And I don't have the words anymore. And now they're arguing over that. Yes, this is wonderful. Please, let's have this insane asylum burn itself up from the inside.
Do you, I get the sense that the circle around Trump that this appeals to is tightening, that the number of Americans he can continue to fool is shrinking. The poll numbers bear that out. Now, he still lives in a world in which only good news makes it across his desk. So I think this can go on for a long time. I think he just tweeted out great poll numbers or something like that in the midst of a historic decline in presidential approval ratings. So he's only, he lives in the proverbial presidential bubble. But I think even as disappointed as we sometimes are in our fellow Americans and some of their reading levels, they're not having it come November, and certainly not 2028.
That's what I'm saying, is that you can't have a golden statue, man. I'm telling, it's the Epstein files, it's the golden statues, it's the economy, which is crazy, and it's Iran. I mean, MAGA is inherently nationalistic. I've said this before, and I still think Iran, the downward cascading effects of Iran are getting worse and worse. By the way, though, generationally, Trump's already won. And here's what I want to tell you. His family's made so much money and they're so embedded in the military industrial complex now with the self-dealing that there's nothing we can do. They're like ticks on a dog's ass. You want to reach your hand in there to get it, but it's very hard to. And they're so embedded downstream in generational monies now. They've had billions of dollars and they're invested in side deals with Anduril, Palantir, but they're invested in other drone companies like Power Us, Extend, Unusual Machines, Vulcan Elements. Their critical mineral company got the largest loan in the history of the United States from the Office of Strategic Capital, $620 million. They have $750 million in direct contracts from drones. Eric Trump just said he got another $24 million contract. They just invested in a Kazakhstan company. Kazakhstan, they got a $1.6 billion contract with the United States. They invested after the contract was actually awarded. They have downstream billions now. That's going to be very hard for us to actually extract and to get back.
That is depressing, and we don't have enough time to dig into it. I would just remind people to look to Hungary and what Magyar is doing right now in rooting out the corruption and holding the folks who betrayed that country accountable, in shining light in the darkest corners of Orban's government. I maintain that we need something like that here, and we can do it. And look, I just had Chris Goldsmith on. I think that episode's actually going to air after this one. But he had this great observation that one of the downstream effects of firing a bunch of JAGs, alienating half of the FBI, throwing them out on their asses, is that with the next administration, you're going to have an army of pissed off investigators and lawyers that are going to be looking into every crevice of the Trump administration and the Trump family's corruption. And I think there will be some accountability. Make me feel good about that.
It's, there's always reactions, right? What is it? There's always an equal reaction to whatever it is, Newton laws, whatever. Physics. I don't know. I get tired. I'm dead. But here's the thing. Not only has he built an yes man army inside of his own administration, but he has built a Protect America resistance army simultaneously. Yeah. They are out there. And I think that's what I'm starting to see finally. But again, it comes back to the opposing party, the Democrats, having the spine to follow through on a level they never have before. And I don't know if that's possible, but we shall see.
We shall see, which is why we need fighting Dems. We just had Harry Dunn on running in Maryland, our mutual, very dear friend. Everyone vote for Harry Dunn if you live in Maryland. Yeah, you're right. We need not only to flip the House, we need to send fighting Dems to the House or who are willing to do what it's going to take to fix this ship of state that Trump is in the process of capsizing. Thanks, Denver, as always.
Thanks, buddy.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.